The lack of money is the root of all evil. From More Maxims of Mark, by Merle Johnson. A banker is a fellow who lends you his umbrella when the sun is shining, but wants it back the minute it begins to rain. There is some argument whether this is an actual Twain quote, but seems to be in keeping with his humor and style. The government of my country snubs honest simplicity, but fondles artistic villainy, and I think I might have developed into a very capable pickpocket if I had remained in the public service a year or two, from roughing it. That's the difference between governments and individuals. Governments don't care, individuals do. From A Tramp Abroad. History has tried hard to teach us that we can't have good government under politicians. Now, to go and stick one at the very head of the government couldn't be wise. From the 26th of August 1876 edition of the New York Herald. Patriotism is supporting your country all the time, and your government when it deserves it. Mark Twain. We have the best government that money can buy. Mark Twain. 2 Mark Twain quotes. Loyalty to the nation all the time, loyalty to the government when it deserves it. Mark Twain. Suppose you were an idiot, and suppose you were a member of Congress. But I repeat myself. Mark Twain. Principles have no real force except when one is well fed. Mark Twain. Honesty is the best policy, when there is money in it. Mark Twain quotes on war. All war must be just the killing of strangers against whom you feel no personal animosity. Strangers whom, in other circumstances, you would help if you found them in trouble, and who would help you if you needed it. From the private history of the campaign that failed. If we had less statesmanship, we would get along with fewer battleships. From his diary circa 1905. Mark Twain quotes on religion and society. Twain was a Freemason and at times labeled as a Christian, but often detested organized religion and injustices in the name of the church. Zeal and sincerity can carry a new religion further than any other missionary except fire and sword, in Christian Science. Do not put off until tomorrow what can be put off till day after tomorrow just as well. Also quoted in Johnson's Maxims. I am quite sure now that often, very often, in matters concerning religion and politics a man's reasoning powers are not above the monkey's. From Mark Twain and Eruption. Published in 1940 by Harper and authored by Bernard DeVoto. To promise not to do a thing is the surest way in the world to make a body want to go and do that very thing. From Tom Sawyer. Man is kind enough when he is not excited by religion. From A Horse's Tale. The finest clothing made is a person's own skin. But, of course, society demands something more than this. Mark Twain. 3 Mark Twain quotes. Clothes make them on. Naked people have little or no influence on society. Mark Twain. Mark Twain quotes on facts and statistics. 4 Mark Twain quotes. Get your facts first, and then you can distort them as much as you please. As quoted by Rudyard Kipling in From Sea to Shining Sea. Figures often beguile me, particularly when I have the arranging of them myself, in which case the remark attributed to Disraeli would often apply with justice and force. There are three kinds of lies: lies, damned lies, and statistics. From Mark Twain's own autobiography. The chapters from the North American Review. I never saw an author who was aware that there is any dimensional difference between a fact and a surmise, as quoted by his daughter, Clara, in My Father Mark Twain. 5 Mark Twain quotes. Facts are stubborn, but statistics are more pliable. Mark Twain. There are lies, damned lies, and statistics. Mark Twain. Mark Twain quotes about education. Don't let schooling interfere with your education. Mark Twain. 6 Mark Twain quotes. A person who won't read has no advantage over one who can't read. Mark Twain. Cauliflower is nothing but cabbage with a college education. Mark Twain. 7 Mark Twain quotes. Education consists mainly of what we have unlearned. Soap and education are not as sudden as a massacre, but they are more deadly in the long run. Mark Twain. Training is everything. The peach was once a bitter almond. Cauliflower is nothing but cabbage with a college education. Mark Twain. Mark Twain quotes about travel. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Mark Twain quotes about death. 8 Mark Twain quotes. Do the thing you fear most, and the death of fear is certain. The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated. I didn't attend the funeral, but I sent a nice letter saying I approved of it. The fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time. Be careful about reading health books. You may die of a misprint. Mark Twain. Let us endeavor so to live so that when we come to die even the undertaker will be sorry. Thousands of geniuses live and die undiscovered, either by themselves or by others. Mark Twain quotes about happiness. There are people who can do all fine and heroic things but one, keep from telling their happiness to the unhappy. More inspirational Mark Twain quotes. 9 Mark Twain quotes. Apparently there is nothing that cannot happen today. Mark Twain. Never put off till tomorrow what you can do the day after tomorrow. 10 Mark Twain quotes. All you need in this life is ignorance and confidence, and then success is sure. A person who won't read has no advantage over one who can't read. Age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Mark Twain. 11 Mark Twain quotes. The main difference between a cat and a lie is that a cat only has 9 lives. Byland, they are not making it anymore. Mark Twain. Few things are harder to put up with than the annoyance of a good example. Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. Mark Twain. Work is a necessary evil to be avoided. Words are only painted fire. a look is the fire itself. Mark Twain. Be careless in your dress if you must, but keep a tidy soul. Cynicism aside, there's no denying that Twain's gift with language presented, and still presents, valuable insight into the American condition. Those wishing to learn more about Mark Twain or experience a piece of history can visit the Mark Twain House. Related posts.